Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy and welcome to The Last Lap. In today's video we're going to be breaking down everything that happened from the NASCAR Cup Series race at Michigan International Speedway. But before we hop into it, just a quick reminder to hit that like button and subscribe button. We'd greatly appreciate it if you did that. You can also find our social media pages linked in the description down below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop straight into it. As always, I have my friend and co-host Matthew joining me on the show today, and it's a few hours after Michigan. Inspection is done. Kevin Harvick is declared the winner. There's no issues there. So, anyways, Matthew has a feel to be done with Michigan, and the playoff grid is looking a lot tighter now as we head into the last three races of the regular season.
Well, as a Kyle Busch fan personally, I'm glad we're done with Michigan. But from a standpoint of watching the race, it was actually a really great race. I can't wait to discuss about it. And man, only one spot left, and we got 3 races left. Man, this is going to get good, especially since we got a road course in Daytona still to come. So this is going to be amazing. This is going to be a great 3 weeks here.
Yeah, we're going to break that down for you guys in just a little bit, but as always, we have that race recap that I'm going to give you guys real quick. I'll try to keep it brief so we can actually talk about what happened during the race and like the big stories and all that kind of stuff. So there was a weather delay to start the race. Unfortunately, everybody's complaining about these noon start times, but I mean, I can see where they're coming from, but if we started at noon, it would have rained anyways, so we probably could have finished the race a little bit earlier, but they sort of had to drive the track. But anyways, Bubba Wallace started on the pole. The Toyotas in general, they looked fast all weekend long. Most of them started in the top 10. I think Ty Gibbs was the only one that didn't start in the top 10, and he started 11th. So the Toyotas had speed all weekend long. There was a competition caution on lap 20, and that's when things started to get crazy because there was mixed strategy from that point to the rest of the race. There was all kinds of strategy calls. So some drivers stayed out, some drivers pitted, and right after that, there was a big crash, unfortunately, in driving Matthews driver Kyle Busch. That also involved Eric Almirola, Mike McDowell, Austin Cindric, several other drivers. Austin Cindric had a really hard nose first hit into the outside wall, really destroyed the front end of that car, so I'm glad he was okay. But yeah, that caution came out after that competition caution. Christopher Bell won stage 1. Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. were right up there with him. Bubba Wallace didn't make it up to the top 10 because he pitted at that competition caution. And then in stage 2, it was the 2 JGR cars versus a Trackhouse car in Ross Chastain. Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell, they were trying to pass Ross Chastain. Ross finally made the right business decision, in my opinion, and let both of them go by him. But that's not the last time that those cars got together. So that happened in stage 2. There were green flag pit stops. Ross Chastain lost 2 tires technically on pit road and was penalized, had to do a pass-through penalty. And Cole Custer caught fire. He lost a tire, and that somehow caught the car on fire, so he had to come to pit road. That caution came out right in the middle of green flag pit stops. Noah Gragson, he was having a really good run. He unfortunately damaged the toe link and then spun out and damaged his car. He was running in the top 10 for a while, so really good to see him running good. Him and Ty Gibbs both were running like top 5, top 10 in stage 2, so unfortunate ending to Noah Gregson's day. Hopefully he can get a strong run going in that Kaulig racing car. Stage 2 would go to Denny Hamlin. Tyler Reddick had an engine problem as well in stage 2, so that ended his day. And then the Trackhouse cars, they made their way to the front of the field. Daniel Suarez was leading. Christopher Bell was sandwiched in between him and Ross Chastain. So once again, it was just reversed this time. There were 2 Trackhouse cars and 1 Joe Gibbs racing car. And Denny Hamlin eventually made his way up there too, so it was like a 2v2 battle. It was Joe Gibbs Racing versus Trackhouse. And then everything changes when those green flag stops happen once again. The Trackhouse cars, both of them, Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain, pit first. That allows Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell to take the lead. And then Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain, they get together off of turn 4. Christopher Bell kind of comes up the track to kind of squeeze Ross Chastain there. Chastain kind of had his nose in there. They both kind of wiggled and made contact. Christopher Bell go into the wall. That would end his day. I think Ross Chastain was still able to keep going. He didn't have that much damage, but ended Christopher Bell's day completely. That trapped Daniel Suarez a lap down, so Denny Hamlin was the leader. And then Denny Hamlin got busted for yet another pit road penalty for too many men over the wall. So that knocked both Trackhouse cars out of it pretty much, both JGR cars out of it pretty much, and Kevin Harvick would regain the lead. He was the leader with that restart. Harvick jumped out to the lead. Logano, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, they were all battling for second place. Really good battle between second place for those guys. Kevin Harvick pulled away, and then Bubba finally passes Joey Logano with 17 laps to go, but he's 4+ seconds behind Kevin Harvick. So Kevin Harvick would end up hanging on to get the win. So, also, Daniel Suarez had a flat tire with a few laps left. NASCAR didn't throw the caution for it, which they've been pretty consistent on that all year about tires going down and not throwing cautions for it for debris and stuff. So I do think that was the right call if they didn't throw the caution there. I just want to throw my opinion on that on there real quick. But Kevin Harvick would win the race, so I'll go over the stories and all that stuff in a second. I will go over the top 10. So Kevin Harvick obviously gets the win. Bubba Wallace finishes second, his 4th straight top 10, I believe. So Bubba, he had a really fast car today. He showed it, executed it, just like New Hampshire. So very good to see them finally starting to click. I know he was pretty disappointed that he didn't get the win today, but very positive, very good momentum as they continue to try and get a win to make their way into the playoffs. Denny Hamlin rallied back to finish 3rd after that penalty. I think Hamlin had the fastest car today. He was really fast. Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney finished 4th and 5th. Martin Truex Jr. finished 6th. Kyle Larson 7th. Eric Jones 8th. Alex Bowman 9th. And Mr. Ty Gibbs, in his 3rd career Cup Series start, gets his first ever top 10 finish. He hung around top 10, top 15 all day long. He did have a speeding penalty, but he did bounce back to finish 10th. So great run for Ty Gibbs, especially after overcoming that speeding penalty. So great run there for Ty Gibbs. Now let's go over these stories. First of all, Kevin Harvick finally snaps his 65 race winning streak. It goes all the way back to Bristol in 2020. That was the last time he won before this race in Michigan. Now, is he heating up at the right time? Is Ford heating up at the right time? I'm starting to think of the 2014 playoffs. I know he won a lot before the playoffs started, but when his back was up against the wall at Dover, he had to win that race. He won that race. He won the championship later that year. So is Kevin Harvick heating up? Could he potentially go on a pretty deep playoff run? I don't know. The Fords have been struggling a little bit, but he came to one of his best tracks, got the win, could make that momentum start going in their direction as they go into the playoffs. The next story, the Toyotas today, they were the strongest car, I'd say they had the top 3 to 5 cars today. They could have easily swept the top 3 positions, but each one had a problem today pretty much. Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell, they both wrecked. Ty Gibbs, he had a speeding penalty. I'll kind of let that slide because it's Ty Gibbs and it's only his 3rd career Cup start. Denny Hamlin had a pit road penalty, his 31st pit road penalty of the year for Denny Hamlin. So I don't know why people are getting on Bubba Wallace's crew for making mistakes when Denny Hamlin has the most pit road penalties out of any driver this year with 31. So I think there needs to be some talk on that Denny Hamlin pit crew. Martin Truex Jr., apparently him and his crew chief were going back and forth against each other all day long. So the Toyotas, they need to get it together. They've had strong cars the past few weeks. I look at Pocono, they had a good run there. They did win New Hampshire, so I will give them that. And then today at Michigan, they had the fastest cars again, and they didn't execute. So Toyota in general, I think they need to tighten things up to get ready for the playoffs. They're going to another good track for them next week at Richmond, so we'll see how they do there. Speaking of Richmond, Ryan Blaney is now 19 points ahead of Martin Truex Jr. for the final spot in the playoffs. This is the first time we've had more than 14 winners in this format. So we have 15 winners now, 1 spot left. Ryan Blaney is 19 points ahead of Truex. But we're going to Richmond. Martin Truex Jr., he's been really good there. The Toyotas in general have been really good there. So I would not be surprised if Martin Truex Jr. either takes the points lead back from Ryan Blaney, or if Martin Truex Jr. wins at Richmond and puts himself into the final spot in the playoffs. But Ryan Blaney, he's really good at Daytona, so I wouldn't be surprised if he wins at Daytona in a few weeks and he puts himself in the playoffs. And then Daytona in general has all those factors with Almirola, Bubba Wallace, all those other drivers. So we might hit that 16 winner mark. Ryan Blaney might make it, Truex might make it, or somebody else might make it. We might get 17 winners. I don't know, but this is going to be arguably one of the most exciting regular season finales in since this playoff format has started with this regular season stuff. So, anyways, I've talked enough. That's a lot of stuff. These final few weeks are going to be crazy, like Matthew said, but go ahead and tell everybody how you're feeling about this race and the playoff picture in general as we get into these final few races of the season.
Well, to start things off, I thought today's race was a great race. One of the best Michigan races that I have seen in a long time. I mean, Michigan, when you think about that track, is notorious for not being the most exciting racing over the years. It's mostly been like a strategy race, but I thought the race this year was really great. And as the next gen car, they have been notorious this year for basically making the mile and a half and larger tracks great again. Now they still need a little tweaking on the short tracks and especially on the road courses, but as far as the bigger tracks go, they have basically saved those racetracks. So except for Texas, but we all know that. But great race. Enjoyed it. So the first thing I want to talk about is Kevin Harvick finally breaking this winless streak. Happy for him, and man, I mean, I never thought we'd actually be talking about Kevin Harvick having a winless streak if we were talking from 2020 after winning 9 races that year, and then last year he was winless. Even he made the playoffs, but he was winless, and then this year, he was basically almost the same as last year, it seemed like. I'm like, man, we're starting to see the same thing we saw from Jimmy Johnson last couple of years with Kevin Harvick here. Maybe he's starting, I mean, he is like the oldest driver in the field. Are we starting to see that creep up on him? You know, father time is never defeated. And it's great to see, you know, Kevin Harvick able to basically prove everyone wrong and win at one of his best tracks. This is his 6th win in Michigan. So, one of his best tracks. So, it was great to see him, you know, break that winless streak. Great for Stewart-Haas Racing as they have been mid this year. I mean, the only bright spot has been basically Chase Briscoe looking good. I mean, Harvick has been really good. It's been good, but not the best. And then you have Eric Almirola, who's just mid, in my opinion. And then you got the other guy that just absolutely disappointing, and his flat tire basically sums up his career in a nutshell. It seemed like it was all good, rising up, getting his first win in his rookie year, then became a fireball just like that. It seems like so. If I'm Cole Custer, there'll probably be some sleepless nights, especially since Kyle Busch is still in free agency. But anyways, it's great for Stewart-Haas Racing. Another one to talk about, Bubba Wallace. 2nd place today. This was by far the best race that we have seen from Bubba Wallace in the Cup Series today. I know he won Talladega last year, but this race was absolutely more impressive today because this is not a super speedway race. This is a 2-mile track with the package that they race everywhere else, not super speedway. And he was really good today. He got the pole, which was amazing for him, in 23:11. That was their first pole, and then leading laps, and then staying up front, and then was at 2nd place. Almost had a shot of the win if it wasn't for Joe Logano, you know, racing to it. But that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to race hard. But man, I do feel bad for Bubba Wallace. I understand his emotions. You know, he feel like he let the team down, but he did not. I feel like he basically shut everyone up with people saying he can't, you know, race anywhere else good. He only races good at super speedways. Nope, he proved that today. And he's proven that the last couple weeks. I mean, this is his his 4th straight top 10. And it seems like after that pit crew swap, you know, After that terrible pit crew went away, and actually put some good people in that pit crew, now we're starting to see the results. It's like, man, this imagine they had this pit crew the whole season. They probably have more top tens by now. But I'm glad they're starting to get things clicking. But unfortunately, it might be a little bit too late because there's only 3 races left. You still got Daytona, but you can't put all your eggs in the basket there because everyone else will be doing the same thing. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I'm happy for Bubba Wallace. You know, getting second today on a track that we did not think he would run that well, but he ended up did, and just shutting all those haters up there. So that's great for him. Alex Bowman finally in the top 10. Is what seems like forever. Seems like he's been an absolute disaster this summer. And, well, we'll talk about another driver who's doing the same thing too. But he finally in the top 10. Ty Gibbs. Man, this kid just always continues to impress me every weekend. I mean, I'm just glad for Ty Gibbs. You know, he's not being over aggressive. He's not ragging all over the place. Every race he's able to finish. On the lead lap, he's able to finish it with the car clean. I mean, that's what a rookie's supposed to do in the Cup Series, especially when you get the opportunity like this. To get all the laps in, to learn as much as you can, and he's been doing exactly that. And for him to get a top 10 in only his 3rd Cup Series start at a non-super speedway race, nonetheless, this kid is something. I mean, I've been calling him the future of NASCAR since he won his first Xfinity race in his first start, and he's continued to prove that he's probably going to be that future in the Cup Series. So, man, everyone keeps saying he's Cup ready, but I'm just gonna, I'm not saying that because I'm worried about him taking the 18 car. I'm not saying that. It's just I want him to take his time. Don't rush him, please. Joe Gibbs can't afford to rush another one, especially his grandson. So, just one more year at Xfinity, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, that's all I really have to say other than another disappointing race by the 18 team. And am I surprised? Nope. I mean, man, this summer has been probably one of the worst runs by this team that I've ever seen. It seems like after all the kids got out of school for the summer, it's just been a downward spiral since then. I mean, it's like you can place a bet that something's going to happen to the 18 car, and you'll probably win a lot of money because something's going to happen. So it just doesn't end, and at this point, I'm just ready for a first round exit. At this point, I mean, I'd be shocked if they find a way to get back to even to the 3rd round. I'll be shocked. And I'll be shocked if he even stays at JGR because it seems like things are just getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, yeah, that whole incident was mostly because they let a Rick Ware racing car out front of the field for some reason. But part of that also goes to that crew chief on the 18 car, which I cannot stand at all. I miss Adam Stevens so much in that pit box. And that's one of the reasons why, because he makes stupid calls. I mean, there's no on the rear of the racetrack where track position matters. This car is so track position dependent. I mean, new tires didn't even matter at all, and he decides to put 4 tires on while everyone else was either staying out, fuel only, or 2 tires. He was like the only one who did 4 tires, and guess what happened? So at this point, I'm sure Kyle Busch, when he saw Harvick winning, hey, I'm going to sign that paper right now with that Stewart Haas next year. See ya. So, yep. That's all I have to say about that. But other than that, great race. And, yeah, this is going to be crazy. Only 1 spot left.
Yeah, I don't know. They said before the broadcast Kyle Busch's outside the top 10 streak what it was. I don't remember what it was. That's probably a good thing that I don't remember the specific number, but it's in the high single digits, the amount of straight races Kyle has not finished in the top 10. So, and whether they say that the whole contract thing is a part of it or not, I think it definitely is part of. It's definitely a distraction. Whether it's affecting the race team or not, I don't know. But we'll go ahead and rate this race, and we'll get on out of here. So, for me, I think I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It was definitely a really good Michigan race. It was pretty. I don't want to say it was hard to pass. Like, you could pass. I mean, Denny Hamlin drove his way all the way up from that pit penalty to finish third, so you could definitely pass. It was just hard to pull it off because you basically had to pull a slide job going into one of the corners. You could draft a lot. It was fun to watch like 3 or 4 or 5 cars all race together because someone would make a move, then a few cars will line up and pass them and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was a pretty good Michigan race. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Matthew, what are you going to rate this race from Michigan?
I would give this race an 8 out of 10. I thought this was a really great race. I thought Fontana was just a little bit better, but still close enough in my opinion, and to be a really great race. So I'll give it 8 out of 10.
Alright, so we're also going to go over our fantasy updates. So you waxed the bed on me this week. You beat me by 30 points. You got 220. I got 190. I unfortunately had Kyle Busch and Tyler Reddick in my lineup, so with both of them leaving the race pretty early, that affected me pretty bad. So unfortunate for me this week. You got 220 points. I got 190. So for total points, you have 4,178. I have 4,157. You have a 21-point lead now. So you took the lead back by a decent margin, I would say, as we head into Richmond next week. So, Matthew, what are your final thoughts before you go ahead and wrap the episode up? Talk to me about a little bit more about this playoff grid and what do you think will happen in the final 3 races of the regular season?
Well, my prediction was we were going to have 16 winners. Now we're only one spot open left. So I'm getting close there, and Richmond, it could happen next weekend. You got Lawrence Truex Jr., one of the best at Richmond. I mean, Toyota General has always been good at Richmond, so keep an eye on any of the Toyotas, actually. But Lawrence Truex Jr. is definitely one to keep an eye on. Of course, you got Watkins Glen, and I feel like there are some underdogs that could steal the show. I mean, Michael McDowell, he's really good at road courses. You have Chris Buescher, who's really good at road courses. I mean, you got A.J. Allmendinger, but he's not running for the playoffs, but it still counts as a different winner. You still have him. And then, of course, you got Daytona, where anyone can win. Even Corey LaJoie could win, which he almost did if he didn't get walled. But you still got Bubba Wallace, is really good at Daytona. You got Justin Haley, won at Daytona even though it was rained out. But yeah, this playoff grid is going to be shaky. And if I were Kevin Harvick, don't get too relaxed, because we could have more than 16 winners, and he doesn't have a lot of stage points compared to the others who have won. So he's not out of the woods just yet. I'll say that.
Yeah, these final few weeks are going to be really intense. We hope you guys stay tuned to our channel for updates throughout the regular season and the playoffs. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this video. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts down below. How many winners are we going to get in the regular season in the next few weeks? Are we going to hit 16? Are we going to hit more than 16? Let us know in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys stay tuned to our social media pages for updates. But until next time, we will see you guys in our next video.